Hello my fellow gamer, it's Griffin here and welcome to another POE 2 video. Today we'll have a look at the beginner's guide for Cold Sorceress with minions support for Act 1 in POE 2. I'm going to make this guide as it would be the first character using only crafting materials, gems and items that we'll discover during this playthrough. Let's dive in. Playstyle. When we'll fight against the Act 1 boss, our character will be around level 16. We'll be using Ice Nova, Frost Bomb and Frost Bolts. We'll also have Skeleton Warriors, Skeleton Arsonists and will trigger Raging Spirits by using Flame Wall spell. It is a very fun, engaging and enjoyable playstyle. Passive skill tree. By the time we'll defeat the Act 1 boss, our character's passive skill tree will look like this. The main focus as we level up is to prioritize damage. On the passive skill tree, we'll allocate points into spell damage and minions damage. Items. We want to upgrade our weapon as often as we can and to look for stats like additional elemental damage for spells or minion damage. For boots, movement speed stat it is extremely important. For the rest of the gear like helm, armor, boots and gloves, we would like to look for stats like life, energy shield, resistances and mana regen. Checking the vendors every time we visit town is also a good idea as they have good items for the most part. We can sell white items, disenchant blue and yellow items that don't have good stats or even sell them for more gold. Also, we may find items that are not good for our character but have great stats for other classes. Gems. With the first uncut skill gem, we'll get Ice Nova. Right outside the camp, if we travel a bit north, we'll find a checkpoint and in a nearby chest there is another uncut skill gem. This time we'll select Frost Bomb. These two spells complement each other very well. Frost Bomb spell lowers enemies' resistances through exposure to cold and has good damage through its delayed explosion. We can use Ice Nova for crowd control at close range as it will apply chills and can even freeze enemies if enough cold damage was dealt. By defeating the witch in the next area, we'll get rewarded with an uncut support gem and we'll get Deep Freeze that will allocate to Frost Bomb. When we'll get access to level 3 skill gems, we'll get Skeleton Arsonist and Frost Bolt. There is a very cool synergy between Frost Bolt spell and Ice Nova. As the projectile from Frost Bolt travels, we can quickly hover with a mouse above it and we can cast Frost Nova at that location, and as the Frost Bolt continues to travel, we can continue casting Ice Nova. Later we can do the same using Cold Snap instead for even more damage. This is the reason we are assigning Slow Projectile Support Gem to Frost Bolt spell, so we can cast Ice Nova on these projectiles easier and more often for more damage and freeze build up. We'll also assign Unleash Support Gem, so we'll launch 2 bolts per cast. A very enjoyable playstyle with good synergy between spells. Soon we'll get Flame Wall that has good damage, and any projectile that fires through the flaming wall does additional fire damage, and this includes projectiles from Spark, Frost Bolt, even projectiles from other minions. Later on, we'll use Flame Wall to trigger Raging Spirits that are short-lived minions with powerful attacks that will add significant boost in power to our build. While the minions will attack or distract other enemies, we'll have time to cast cold spells to freeze and shatter enemies from a safe distance for the most part. There are mini-bosses in almost every zone, and it's definitely worth defeating them as the rewards are quite significant. New uncut skill gems, uncut support gems, powerful rare items or sometimes even uniques that especially at the beginning of the game could represent significant upgrades. Some mini-bosses can also drop Book of Specialization that will give us 2 additional points to spend on the passive skill tree for faster progression. But the cherry on top is the uncut spirit gem that will get as a reward for defeating the king in the mists. We'll have few options to choose from, but we'll choose Raging Spirits, that when we'll use a fire spell, will release 5 Raging Spirits per cast to a maximum of 10. These Raging Spirits seek out nearby enemies, they do very good damage and cannot be damaged by other enemies. They only last a short amount of time, so we need to cast fire spell again to keep the ball rolling. As soon as we start using Raging Spirits in our build, the game feels more dynamic and the character feels powerful and ready to face higher challenges. Although so far we've been crushing the content, the Act 1 boss still feels challenging, powerful and requires full attention and good coordination. Before we start the fight, we want to make sure we have very high cold resistance, a cold charm equipped, and the flasks have been upgraded too. I left intentionally the gear barely upgraded to simulate a scenario where we wouldn't have enough mats to craft proper gear. We'll try to cast Frost Bomb and Ice Nova as often as we can to keep the boss frozen for the longest time possible. Also, we'll try to cast Flame Wall quite often so we have Raging Spirits active as much as possible with minimum downtime. I hope you enjoyed this guide and found this useful. Stay tuned for more POE 2 videos as we'll cover this game extensively on this channel. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed it, feel free to give it a like and don't forget to subscribe, as it will help the channel a lot and would be much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. All the best. Bye.